What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This is Diablo's Deliveries with another how-to. This is actually how to make your dirt bike street legal. This is my two-stroke YZ250X. I just made it street legal through what's called the Montana loophole, and there's a couple companies that you can go through to help you get your dirt bike street legal, get it plated, and there's also ways that you can avoid taxes. That's tax avoidance, not tax evasion. There's a difference. One's illegal, and one's just being smart. And with that, it's time to get to the video, but before I get there, if you guys could like and subscribe, it would help me out immensely. Thanks. Okay, so I went through this whole process. I researched a whole bunch of different companies. There's quite a few that do it through Montana and South Dakota. I landed on Dirt Legal because it's the cheapest of the ones that I found. It's also, I think, the most user-friendly, and I really like their website. They just ask you a series of questions. So you start by, did you pay off the vehicle or you got a lien against it? Is there a salvage record on it? They are just collecting information to figure out which avenue they're going to use to get you your plate. They then ask you about what proof of ownership you've got. If you've got a bill of sale, you've got a certificate of origin or title. And then they ask you what kind of vehicle it is that you want to register. Mine is an off-road vehicle, so that's what I chose, and it's a dirt bike. Now, with this whole process, again, like I said before, you don't have to pay sales tax, but that's not illegal because they are doing it through Montana, and in Montana, you don't have to pay sales tax, so it's not a big deal. Some people will tell you that it is. It's not. It's perfectly legal what you're doing. This part right here is where you do your checkout. So I said, okay, I'm going to go through you guys. They're going to say, okay, it's going to be $400. They just want to clarify what kind of document I've got to prove my ownership. I had a certificate of origin, which means that I can do the Montana plate and I don't have to do South Dakota. Also, for the Montana plate, you have to own the vehicle, so you can't have a lien against it. But I'm sure the South Dakota method is just as simple, just probably a few extra steps. One thing I don't like about what they did here is when you go to check out, they say, oh, well, actually, it's $400 to get your bike street legal and get the plate, but it's actually $300 to make an LLC through which they're going to register the bike. So really, it's a $700 process, and they don't really advertise that. So I was thinking it was going to be $400 the whole time, ended up being $700. Still a pretty good deal compared to all the other competitors. Then you do your checkout method, however you want to do it. They make it really easy. You can do it Apple Pay or whatever you want to do. And you just paid $700 and you're kind of wondering, is this going to go well? But it did for me. They sent me an email. They said, go log in. And I went through the whole login process. Again, it's very intuitive to use their website. They give you which portal you need. So you're like, okay, I'm going to access my portal. This is the one for me. You do your sign in. And with the, I'm not going to show you my credentials, obviously. Once you get into the dashboard, they just have a bunch of checklist items for you to do. So the first one is they want a bunch of information about what you want to call your LLC, because they're making an LLC in your name. So of course, I went with Diablo's Deliveries LLC, and then they want alternative names as well. They also want you to do a power of attorney form that gives them the legal ability to form an LLC for you, which makes sense. And then you get an email back like a couple days later saying like, hey, here's what you need to know about Dirt Legal. Here's your application to get an LLC in Montana. And then they put in this. This is the certification letter from the Secretary of State in Montana saying that your company is now a real company in Montana. And then they send you another email and they say, hey, we need your proof of ownership documents. Send them to us, because they're going to retitle the bike to make it a street legal title. So you send them those documents and they say, okay, we got the documents. It's now going to be a couple weeks till you get the plate. And then a couple weeks later, you get the plate. My title then showed up about 2 weeks after that, and now I'm out riding and having a great time. Thanks for watching, guys.